Hey, Nashvillians. Welcome to the You Matter Nashville podcast, the place where every story we share is a celebration of you, the heartbeat of our community. I'm Jason Hoover, delighted to be one half of your hosting duo.
And I'm Mindy Hoover, joining you alongside Jason to bring you the stories of inspiring individuals and unsung heroes making a positive impact right here in our hometown.
Every episode is about passions, dreams, and actions that stitch together the Middle Tennessee community.
So if you're looking to get inspired by the good happening around us, or if you want to hear from the change makers who believe, just like us, that you matter, then hit that follow button on your favorite podcast platform.
And if you are looking to make a move in the Middle Tennessee area, Mindy and I are real estate professionals and would be honored to serve you with excellence.
Now, let's dive into another episode of You Matter Nashville.
Welcome to You Matter Nashville, where we shine a light on individuals making a positive impact in our community. Today, we are honored to have Kailey Cornett with us. She is the CEO of Hope Clinic for Women.
Since 1983, Hope Clinic has been a beacon of support, offering medical care, counseling, and education to women, men, and families facing unplanned pregnancies and related challenges. Kailey's dedication to this cause began at the young age of 16, and her journey is both inspiring and impactful.
Kailey, it's such a pleasure to have you with us today. Your commitment to supporting women started so early in your life. Can you tell us a little bit about what drew you to this field?
Yes, it's kind of a crazy story, I guess, in the sense that I was young and knew what I wanted to do. I'm sure my parents would not be surprised by that at all. I recently found a letter that I wrote to myself as like a school project when I think I was 9 or 10. It was like 20 years from now, what does my life look like? And I literally had a board meeting. As 20 years from now, I will be going to a board meeting and writing a newsletter to my other investors, because apparently I was going to be an investor. At the age of 9, that was my plan. So
that is the best thing ever.
I'm going to be going to a board meeting to make money. That's what I'm doing.
At 9 years old.
Yes. Yeah. Wild. I don't have twins, but so when I was 16, I grew up Pentecostal and attended a youth conference where very clearly heard from the Lord that he wanted me to serve women who found themselves in unplanned pregnancy. And at the time, I very much viewed it through the lens of my own experience as a 16-year-old going to a large public high school where all my friends knew I was Christian. And if I was in that place and made the brave decision to continue with that pregnancy, the isolation and the shame and the fear that I would feel, my heart just really broke for that girl. And what would it look like to create a community where she felt like she could belong during the difficulty of a pregnancy that everyone can see, but then even beyond that. So that was the initial trigger. And what that led me to was volunteering at a very similar organization to Hope Clinic in Phoenix, Arizona, where I lived. And there is when I kind of realized the reality of it. It's not just 16-year-old girls who get pregnant. It's these women in their 20s and 30s who are dealing with the complexities that life brings you, whether that's domestic violence or socioeconomic issues. And then I was like, okay, am I so I know I want to do this work. I thought maybe I was supposed to be a counselor because these women, a lot of them needed counseling. I had enough self-awareness as a 16-year-old to know that listening is a learned skill for me, not a natural inherited skill, especially from my family background. And so I was like, well, maybe counseling isn't going to be the way to go. But obviously I wanted to be an investor at age 9. So I was like, how do I blend these two together? I was like, someone has to run these organizations, right? And so I chose to study nonprofit management and business in college. Got to work with another center very similar to Hope Clinic in Los Angeles called Claris. I went to school in California. And really that was where my two loves met, of wanting a really healthy, profitable business to meet this like passion that I have for women who find themselves in an unplanned pregnancy or other issues. And so that's kind of where it is. My first career was in private equity, which is super wild. And then got to make the career transition back to nonprofit work when I moved to Nashville in 2018.
Wow. We kind of grew up the same religiously. And I had a similar experience when I was 18 and didn't know what I really wanted to do. I had my top 3 list and all the things. And God spoke to me that He wanted me to work with kids that no one else wanted, or the ones that were too hard. And I was like, and then I went into teaching, and that's pretty much all I got, I swear. No.
Well, maybe not so specific.
Like maybe not so needy. No. But working with the forgotten kids, or the kids that kind of got pushed to the sides, those the kinds that kind of, found me. So it's so neat that, you kind of had that moment of, this is where the need is, and I want to put you there. So that's really cool to have that, that just that innate thing inside of you to push you to do great things. So you started in a place in LA?
Yes. Yeah. A clinic in Los Angeles is where I worked with their CEO really closely. And I honestly thought that career-wise, I would work at a pregnancy clinic later in my career. I was like, I'll do the for-profit thing first, make money, and then go back. And then doing that for a while, I was like, I have no heart in this, and I can't spend what is majority of your life at work with something I don't care about.
That rings so true.
Yeah, it really, really does. If you're not passionate about it, like, why are you even living like that? So I get that.
Which is one of the reasons we started this. Is we have that desire and that need to fill that soul of reaching out and helping people. But we do for profit, to pay for everything. But we started this like, man, this is our passion project. Is getting to know people like you, finding people that are doing good things in the community. So definitely that what you shared sings to the heart.
So what year did you come to Nashville and join Hope Clinic?
I moved to Nashville in 2018. Back at the time, people said there's 100 people a day moving to Nashville. And I was very shy about the fact I moved here from California, which I still am. I was like, I'm not from California. I just moved here from California.
I know. Some people can not be that nice about it. If you say you're from California, they're like, oh,
I'm like, I didn't buy my house in cash. I
think I got a mortgage. I'm struggling like everyone else.
So I actually started volunteering at Hope Clinic first, and then was brought on staff in 2019, right in January. Awesome. So I just celebrated 6 years last week.
Yay!
Congratulations!
Thank you.
So, what brought you out to Nashville specifically?
Yeah. So the work I did in California was for that private equity company where I was a consultant for the software companies in our portfolio, and I traveled for work. It was crazy, wild, 80-hour work weeks. And I realized that, like you talk about, it's you have to have your heart in something. And I looked kind of at the career paths in front of me of, okay, do I want to work my way up in these software companies, or do I want to work my way up to partner in the firm? And neither of them were interesting. And that coincided with I met a boy who is from Georgia. And so we had been dating long distance for about 8 months. And at that point, when I was ready to make a career transition, there's nothing that was really holding me in LA other than my job. And so it would be nice to not for us have to get on a flight to see each other. So he was moving to Nashville at the time for music. He's an audio engineer now. And I said, what if I moved to Nashville with you? So we moved to Nashville together in 2018.
So he said yes. That's important.
He did say yes. He did propose 2 years later. Gosh, too much time later, really.
Too much time. Like, you should have made this decision faster. I said yes to go to Nashville.
Yeah, I moved across the country for you. I feel like you can see that I'm committed here. But hey, 5 years in, we're great.
Man, so you have something similar again.
Yeah.
See, we both grew up in Arkansas and went to a college there together, but I transferred to Belmont. But we didn't know each other before I did. And it wasn't until I went for a homecoming game back at that university. And some of our friends connected us, like threw us in the back of a car together to go to a store.
Yeah, they're like, hey, Hoover, Mindy, go with us. We're like, okay.
And literally, it was that night, and here we are.
There we
Where
go.
did you guys go in Arkansas?
Where to go to school? We went to
Yeah.
Henderson State.
Nice. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, I went there for a homecoming and came back with a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Ended up being a wife, and
Yeah.
ended up great. It was a good move for
There you
sure.
go.
Mhm.
I'm glad.
This is a bad time to bring it up if it's not.
Yeah, right? Feel like, and we're still together.
Remember how
No,
I said I wasn't a counselor?
So Kailey, how does your clinic engage with the broader Nashville community?
Yeah, so we're 40 years old. That's one of the most amazing things I feel like about Hope Clinic is when I came in even 6 years ago, is that it had this incredible legacy. If you, I feel like, spend any time talking to folks who are from here, you'll run into someone who knows Hope Clinic. And that's been really a delight that we have these really deep roots. So we have always lived in this Midtown area. The building that we're in right now, we've been in since the 90s, providing that counseling for people who find themselves in unplanned pregnancy, but also that preventative women's health care and support afterwards through our parenting program. So I think we've kind of always been this staple. We're the only clinic and center like us that specifically do the pregnancy and parenting support that we do in Nashville. And I think that a lot of folks know us for that. But of course, as you guys know, there's a lot of people moving here too, who we would love to get to know us.
That's very true. There hasn't been much of a slowdown. It did slow down a little bit, but not too much of a slowdown.
Now, everything that you guys supply, because I mean, it's not just, oh, we're working with women that are pregnant. There's a lot of different things that you guys do. Like you have classes, you have, I guess, like a mentoring thing through those classes. You have even postpartum counseling and
Mhm.
everything. I would love for you to talk, especially on the classes.
Yeah.
Not all of us are, grow up with large families, know how to do everything,
Mhm.
and ready for parenthood. So
Yeah.
how do you guys get everybody prepared?
Yeah, I'll kind of take you through the journey. So women typically who's coming to us for pregnancy services will find us online or through a friend. Those are like neck and neck ways that people find us. So she comes in, we confirm her pregnancy with an ultrasound. We talk about all of her options. If she makes the brave decision to continue with that pregnancy and parent, we invite her to be part of what we call our Bridge program. And this is a parenting program that is open to her and her partner or her mom or dad, whoever is kind of her support system, are invited to be a part of this. And that includes education classes, like you mentioned. We have an online library that she can kind of watch on demand, as well as we do live classes. So we recently did one on lactation. We had a lactation consultant come in and kind of teach moms about the how to have good breast milk supply. And then we also do things like self-care. We do some things related to spiritual development and nutrition, a wide variety of folks, wide variety of things in two different ways. So a woman can join our program and kind of do what we call self-service, where she looks at our whole list of classes and counseling and mentorship and chooses what she wants and what's going to be a fit for her season of life. And then we have what's called our cohort model, where we group moms by their due date, and we kind of have a plan for them to attend. So they get to know each other.
Cool.
The piece of that I really love is the community.
Yeah.
These moms get to meet each other, and they're all going to be due in the same 3 months. And so they're getting to go through pregnancy and early motherhood together. That program in both directions lasts until that child's a year old. So we're kind of giving them that first head start into parenting. We know parenting is of course, a lifelong journey, but we want to get some good roots down.
That's amazing, because especially for first-time parents, you have so many questions. And there's a lot of people that you don't know who to go at. I mean, you can go online, but I mean, if you got
What's real, what's not real, right?
and you got people that are going through the same, kind of in the same trimester. So they're experiencing a lot of the same things that are happening. I love that.
And there's a lot of evidence, research done on how it's called centering pregnancy. It's actually a way that even prenatal care can be provided, is that when you're in this group setting and Mary asked a question that you hadn't really thought of, but you actually were like, oh, I would love to know the answer to that. You get a better experience. And so our moms are learning from each other. We'll usually in those gatherings, we have a facilitator, but we also will bring in specialists. So we'll have like a doula come and talk about the importance of doula as they're preparing for labor and delivery. And there's this group learning aspect where I think creates a richer experience for each woman.
I agree. And I wish I had that support. I was a young mom and well, I was 23 at the time, but in the South, that's old. No, I'm joking. But just going through that, I mean, how rewarding that would be being with other people and just having that support. But you don't just support through that. Like you guys also have like a store and different things as well. So please explain that for the parents that take part in this program, what they get in return.
Yeah. So I just say like having kids is expensive. We all know that. And so we want to alleviate some of that financial burden through, we have what we call our maternity store or baby boutique, and it is full of clothing and diapers and wipes and cribs and car seats, all of it of which has been donated. I would say clothing wise, about half of it's brand new stuff. I know I have a whole outfit that my son never wore because I forgot it was in the closet and he grew out of it. And so it's stuff like that, as well as we get some really gently used, beautiful stuff like cribs and bassinets and things like that, where she can come and shop. I would say for the people that participate in our program, they at least never buy diapers that whole first year of that child's life.
Oh, wow. That is amazing.
That's a huge relief.
Yeah.
I remember us having to buy diapers and taking out a loan for all of them.
I mean, it's
like, we can reuse that one, right?
I remember.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I remember with our son, the school asked, like, what? We're going to do a baby shower. What kind do you want? I'm like, diaper. I want a diaper shower. That's what I want.
I think
that was the biggest blessing.
Calculated the cost of each diaper change. He's like, okay, if we approximately use 3 wipes and we use this, he's like, and if we change him and then he poops again, he's like, that just costs another 67 cents, bud. Are you sure you're prepared to do that?
Are you done? Are you finished this time?
That reminds me of the father off of the show Everybody Hates Chris. Did y'all ever watch, or I know you did, where he would
everything's money.
Oh, that was $1.32 worth of meat you threw away.
Yeah,
my husband when it comes to diapers.
Awesome. I love it.
It's a real problem. It's a real problem. But, are we going to wash those diapers out? No, we are not. There are some special people here on earth that like doing that, but I am not one of them.
I've thought about it, but I have not dipped my toes into it.
No, give me a pamper.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some the significant challenges that you guys face in this in today's healthcare market?
Yeah, it's a great question. I would say our clients are coming up against a handful of things. I would say for people who we're related to our pregnancy services, it's really that oftentimes this pregnancy is one of many things going on in her life that are a challenge. Housing usually being one of them, employment, maybe she's in an unhealthy relationship. Or her own mental health is not very strong. And so she's looking at this pregnancy, which is just one of many crises in her life, and thinking like, how could I possibly handle one more thing on top of what I have in front of me? And that's where our team of what we call client advocates come in and help her really unpack what are the main stressors, what are the resources that we can get you, whether that's at Hope Clinic or one of the other amazing nonprofits in town. So that we can kind of remove those obstacles in the way of her choosing life. I would say those top ones are typically housing and mental health. We're lucky that in-house we can provide that counseling for her for free as part of that program with our licensed therapists. We're not a housing agency, so that's a little bit tougher. We did just launch a rent assistance program where we're able to cover 3 months rent, really kind of targeted around usually delivery. So we don't want a woman to be anxious about losing her housing because she's out of work because she's just delivered. Right. And so through a grant that we received, we're able to cover those months.
That's amazing.
That awesome. Really is. And it's, like you said, there's so many things happening, and just another thing on top of them. That 3 months is a burden taken off of them, and they can
Yeah.
focus on what matters right there in front of them.
What I love more than anything is that you don't just go, "Hey, why don't you just want to keep your baby? Why don't you, you like actually give support. You give mental support, physical support, classes. You said they have the education. You're even putting your money where your mouth is and helping them in their months of most dire need. I mean, I just think it's just so admirable to have a program that's just so fully faceted to help every situation. You guys have thought of everything, really, when it comes down to it. So I applaud you guys. You're doing great work.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll say this, and some of your listeners may be aware that obviously in Tennessee we have one of the most life-affirming laws in the country. That it's almost in all circumstances illegal to get an abortion, and when that happened, that opposition happened in 2022. All the reasons why a woman is considering terminating still exist. All of those really valid experiences and challenges she's facing, those are still there, even with the change in legislation that we're grateful for. But the work still has to be done. And so that's why we continue to exist, because
the void is still there. Yes. And so just thank you. Because I know that's one of the biggest complaints, from just everyday citizens is like, oh, they're wanting to outlaw all these things, but they're not wanting to help the girl that's in need. So
yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And to your question too, Jason, about healthcare. So for our preventative women's healthcare, I feel like some of the challenges that the women we serve there who are getting their annuals with us, or STI testing, or even just a woman problem visit, is they may be new to town and not have connected with a provider yet. Or they don't have insurance, or really they're just looking for kind of a higher level of anonymity in care. So our team of advanced practice nurses, like nurse practitioners and nurse midwives who provide those appointments, we spend 45 minutes with each of those women, even if just she's presenting as like, I think I have a yeast infection. We're going to spend time with her to really talk about her physical health history. We're going to talk about her mental health. We're going to make, again, referrals to the needs that she has, not just kind of getting her in and out.
Like a Band-Aid.
Really, our model really creates space to address more than just whatever concern she walks through the door with, so that she can walk away feeling more educated about herself, how her body works, and so she can make healthier choices in the future.
It also creates trust. Women have to have that trust in their physician or their caregiver. Women are so easily told, "Oh, you're crazy. Oh, is that really how you feel when you go into an appointment?"
No. Just get this. Just have this medication, or just do
take this medication. You'll be fine. And you're like, "No, I have some valid concerns. I would like for you to hear me out." So, I have always found that going to a nurse practitioner, and they just have a different set of ears. And how they look at everything, and they really take the time with you. And so I love that.
Yeah, we have an amazing team.
So on that journey, what's a story that sticks out to you that just really touched your heart?
Yeah, we have a woman who shared her story recently with us. Her name is Kailey. And what's so crazy about this work is that when you consider the length of time that we're with someone in our parenting program, it's up to 20 months, which is like, in nonprofit years, I feel like forever. So we had a woman who says, I think I'd like to share my story with you all of how you've impacted me. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't know if I know her. And then I realized, I do know her, because 2 years ago we did XYZ. So she found us really early on in her pregnancy, and initially was excited. I think she was like hesitantly excited about the pregnancy. When she told her boyfriend, he was like, nope, I'm out. I'm not interested in being a part of this. And that was her housing. And so she was then left with a really tough decision of keeping this housing, keeping this relationship that she had thus far enjoyed. And at the same time, I think her employment ended, or like because of pregnancy, she wouldn't be as readily able to continue her employment. So she came to us then with a very different story of, I think I still want to do this, but my life circumstances look very different. So she was one of the first people we did. We actually covered her car payment for a few months right at the beginning of her pregnancy so that she can try to get employment for the rest of her pregnancy. Joined our parenting program, joined our cohort model. So she got to meet other moms because this was her first child, and just kind of hearing how she's reconnected. She actually works for one of the housing authorities now and helps other moms get housing.
I love that.
That's amazing.
Which is like such just a beautiful full circle moment. Her daughter's just over 1 year old now. And it's just really beautiful to see the two of them together thriving and her able to give back to other moms. I think that's what surprises me the most about the women that we serve is how incredibly resilient they are and how generous. We'll get people who will like donate formula that they ended up, they're like, hey, I got this can and I actually don't need it. Can I give it back to the store so a mom can get formula? Or we actually are done with these clothes now. Can I donate them back? And it's really beautiful to see that kind of pay it forward attitude that they have.
I love that. Now, what type of items do you guys like take for your store?
Yeah. So we take clothing up to 2T that's like gently used. We're always in need of diapers. I would say that even some of those larger sizes, one of the things that may be difficult is for a mom who has a young kiddo and then she gets another pregnancy diagnosis and she's going, I have a 1 year old. That's it, still in 5s and 6s. And I'm barely getting those diapers, and we can help alleviate some of that burden while she's processing through this new pregnancy. Some of those big items like cribs and strollers are always great. We have a full list on our website, and we even have an Amazon shopping list that we update regularly with some
I love
of our
that.
top needs are. Like I think right now on there we have a specific brand of baby monitors and like safety locks that we want all of our moms to walk away with.
Oh, great. I love that. Then they can also secure their home.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
So if somebody's listening and they're thinking, I don't know, would this be for me? What would you say to them? What person is someone that you are able to help? I guess I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but
Yeah.
I would say that I think with any time you see a positive part, I'll talk about kind of our services differently. So for our pregnancy services, I think that anytime you see kind of those two lines, it's scary, even if you've been trying for years and years and years. I know that when my husband and I got pregnant last year, I was like, we wanted this was planned, and this is still terrifying. That's very normal. I want to normalize that for everyone. But if you get to the next week and you're still feeling more scared than excited, if on that spectrum of joy to fear, you're feeling that fear, or you feel like you're isolated and you haven't been able to tell anyone, we would love to be that first person that you tell to kind of walk through that experience with you. It's what we do day in and day out. We did 700 pregnancy tests last year and walked through that conversation with 700 women of just the complexities that come with a positive pregnancy. And of course, connecting you to resources if you need those. I would say for women in Nashville who are self-employed or contractors and don't have traditional insurance, we'd love to be your healthcare home for your annual. That is a great connection for us. As well as if you are postpartum and dealing with any kind of perinatal mood and anxiety disorders, or if you experience pregnancy loss, that's what our team of therapists are really specialized in, is kind of that perinatal space of mental health. And our professional counseling outside of our parenting program is available on a sliding scale. So we really try to make it affordable based off your income.
And I really love and appreciate the PTSD, because, right after you have that baby, all the money has gone out the window, and the thought of, oh, I need to go to counseling, there's something extra that's wrong. I mean, paying $150, $200 for each counseling session, it might as well be $1,000.
Yeah, absolutely. Ours, just so I'm really clear with everyone, our sliding scale is 25 to 75 a session. Like when most anyone would pay is 75 a session, and that's when you're like, usually money isn't usually an issue.
Now, you guys still take insurance.
We do not. Nope. We don't.
Oh,
actually
you do not.
at all. Yep. So it's
No
all cash
insurance.
pay. And so I'll give you an example of a woman. This was during COVID. A woman was coming in to get her annual. And she gave us a call. I happened to be at the front desk and she was like, I need to cancel my appointment today. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Would you like to reschedule? And she said, well, I don't really know. I'm a server. And so my hours have been cut because of COVID and I'm not making any money. And I was like, just come in. We just want to see you. Like, money should never be a barrier to someone getting that preventative care, or getting help for a gynecological issue that they have. So we never want cost to be a barrier for any of our services.
Perfect. That's perfect.
That definitely helps with the mental health as well.
Yeah.
Do y'all help with mental health, or do y'all like work with another nonprofit that for women that are having those challenges?
Yeah. So our professional counseling that we have here, we have 2 therapists and then we have a team of interns that do kind of your traditional mental health therapy. We kind of lump them into the categories of like perinatal, pregnancy loss, which could include miscarriage or even things like failed IVF and failed adoption, like really that sense of grief around pregnancy and parenthood. And then we also, I definitely want to mention, we have an amazing post-abortion support group. So it's called Uncovering Hope. And our group meets every single Wednesday in the evening over Zoom. And what we've always offered some form of post-abortion counseling because it's very core to our mission that women who have had that experience know that there is grace, there is forgiveness, there is healing available. And so our current iteration is this online support group that is modeled after 12-step Celebrate Recovery, where we have an opening reading, open sharing, closing reading, and prayer. And so we've designed it to be a really good first step for someone who maybe hasn't told anyone that they've had an abortion. Maybe it was 30, 40 years ago. And they're just now at the spot where they're ready to talk about it. Maybe it was last week and that grief is really fresh and raw. The space that we're able to create, it's led by a therapist and then a post-abortive woman herself. And they just create this really beautiful environment where maybe you can just go in and listen and not even say anything for the first couple sessions. But then when you're ready to share, there's this really welcoming group of women who understand more than anything. So that group, we served over 100 women that last year through that. And because it's online and it's a support group, we're able to serve women even across state lines. So we had women from all over the world who joined that group at weird hours of the day because of their time zone, but just really wanted to create that healing opportunity for people.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
That's when technology is helping us.
Yes.
But to reach people around the world where they may not have something like this in their area, I like that.
I'm always amazed how people find us for that group. I think, like, obviously we do some SEO work somehow, but I think a lot of it's just God guiding people. I got a call, this was maybe last year sometime, from a professor at a university, I think in Ohio. And he was calling me and he's like, I have kind of a weird question. I have a student who came to me and told me that she got an abortion and she doesn't know how to process. And I started Googling and I found you all. Can you tell me more about your group? And I'm like, this is a professor from like some random university who just found us on Google and was checking it out for his student. And I was just really impressed by that. And I was like, yeah, here's information. We'd love to have her. It's free. Just have her join the Zoom call.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Now, what significant challenges do you guys have there? Like, do you have any problems with fundraising, or are there any other obstacles that you guys have to kind of work through a lot?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the typical nonprofit challenges is the need is great, and how do we figure out what our thing is? One of our core values is being client focused, and a subheader for that is keeping the main thing the main thing. there's a lot of great work we could do in this city. And for us, it's finding the right balance of meeting her needs and then also trying to be excellent at everything that we do. There's always ways we could partner better with other organizations that are doing great work. I would say that there's always a need for volunteers. And I would say their greatest need, very candidly, is our mentors. So within that parenting program, we would love to pair every mom and dad with another mom and dad from the community. We have about 100 women in that program, and we have only about 30 mentors right now.
Oh, wow.
So it's a wide gap that we want people to obviously be thoughtful about, because you're engaging in someone's life. And so we want that the commitment level is pretty high. Time wise, it's not actually quite high, but that emotional commitment is high. And so we're just hopeful that the Lord will bring us people who have a heart to listen well, to pour into people. And how I like to say is you just have to be a couple steps ahead of her. Doesn't mean you have to be the perfect mom or perfect dad. Doesn't mean you have to have years and years of wisdom. But if you have a toddler and she's pregnant, you're a couple steps ahead of her.
You don't have to be like, empty nesters, and have done it all. So What is the time commitment, and like, what is the interaction like for people who are wanting to mentor?
Yeah. So the main goal is that you connect with your mentee twice a month. And we like that to be either a long phone call or a meeting in person, either here at the clinic or at a coffee shop. We try typically to connect a mentee to a mentor just at the beginning of her second trimester. Usually she gets a little bit more energy at that point and she's ready to engage with some more things. And a lot of that initial work is just rapport building, just getting to know each other, being for her. I like to use the phrase of like cultural humility, recognizing that people's life experience may look very different than our own. And how do you be curious about that rather than being put off? And so we want to foster that environment where she feels like she is really welcomed and accepted in the state of life that she's in. The nice thing about our mentors is that they don't have to be nurses. They don't have to be counselors. We have those. Really, it's more of like being an auntie or a sister, or I don't know what those equivalents are for guys, because I feel like they're so bad at building relationships. But we want our dads to get to know their dads too. We tend to do that more in a group environment, because guys tend to like to do things in groups rather than like face to face, unless maybe there's like a sports game involved.
True.
She knows this pretty well.
But yeah, we would love to get more dads and moms in that. And so they typically get paired right in that second trimester, and that we hope that she stays with us till her kid's a year old. So that's a long commitment to be with someone, but there's really beautiful things we've seen come out of it from both sides, both what the mentee gets in the community that she builds, but also what the mentor gets in that ability to give back and learn.
That's absolutely amazing.
I love that.
I do.
We're all about coaching and mentoring.
Yes.
So that's right up our alley.
Coach. That's what the guy equivalent is. It's like
coach.
Yes.
Maybe we call it, a coach for them.
Yeah, coach. The girls want mentors, guys want coaches.
That's right.
What's funny is, because we're in real estate, but we also, we have a new agent program where we take new agents, just got their license. And it's like, what do they do now? We take them from that point and help them launch their business. But what I'm getting at is that, I'm seen as the coach where she's seen as the mentor. So it was funny that you said it like that.
We're on to something here, folks.
Yeah, I guess so.
And why does mine start with the word men? That doesn't go. That's
a conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy. Okay. Well, do you guys have any upcoming events or any kind of initiatives or fundraisers, charity events, any of that stuff that's coming up?
Yeah, so every year we do, our biggest fundraising event is our gala. This year on March 20th, we will be at the factory in Franklin. And what I love about this event is that we just get to brag about the women that we serve. we just get to tell these stories of the impact that this work has had, and they get to share it from their own mouth. This year, we're going to be sharing a story from one of our clients who was actually a client of ours nearly 20 years ago for her first pregnancy, and is expecting again. So wild timeline there that will be fun for her to explore. And really what she talks about is like, when I was young and came to y'all first, I just felt like I had no one, and you guys were there for me. And so she's got a really beautiful story. And then a donor of ours is actually going to share about her experience of getting involved with Hope Clinic from a donor perspective. And she had an abortion early in her life, and how being a part of Hope Clinic helped her find healing from that experience.
Beautiful.
And so she'll be sharing about that. We will be honoring one of our original medical directors, Dr. Anthony Tribue. He's a Nashville staple. He is still practicing. He delivers baby just like one day a week at Centennial. And so we'll be honoring him with an award for his years of service and really his commitment to choosing something better for his clients, and recognizing that for these women, supporting them in their parenting decision is gonna prove so much more fruitful than anything else. And so we're gonna be honoring him. So March 20th at the factory, we have tables and tickets available. It is your kind of classic sit down dinner where you just get to hear some stories.
And how do people find tickets?
Yeah, so on our website, hopeclinicforwomen.org, you can go to our Get Involved tab. There's a gala page under our events. And it should be a really beautiful night. We're expecting about 350 people.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing. I love that.
I love that. And the factory is so nice and fun now.
Yeah, we were just there yesterday.
We're like, where is this place? Like every time we walk in,
Yes.
it's always changing. But yes, beautiful.
It is. And so you mentioned your website. On the website, do they have, I'm sure you have the Amazon list or? Okay.
Yeah, under that same Get Involved tab, there's information on volunteering there. And then information, if you go to give, it'll have the different ways to give. And one of them, of course, is to donate to our maternity store. So if you're interested in volunteering, you can click there. The first step for volunteering with us is attending what we call an intro class. And we host those twice a month on alternating Tuesdays and Thursdays. And that's just a kind of Hope Clinic 101. Learn a little bit more about us, fill out an application, and then you'll meet with our volunteer coordinator to figure out what might be the best spot for you.
Awesome. And if there's like a drop-off policy for donations?
Just call us during business hours, and we
Okay.
can kind of get it organized and meet you at the back door so you can bring it in.
Perfect. Easy.
Yeah, I'm on your website right now, and love the website, by the way. But yeah, it's you guys have a lot on here. But I'm looking at the events page on the gala. Yeah, definitely something to keep on the radar. I see the gala. I see some other things on here as well.
Yeah, so we do a golf tournament in the fall. And then we do a Christmas event. We did that in December called Cider Carols. And then we actually do a series called Women of Hope, where we host kind of smaller salon events out of women's homes where you invite your friends over. And we usually do some sort of activity, whether it's like floral arranging or candle pouring. And we get to learn about Hope Clinic. And that's just a really great, intimate way. And what I love about that is that it fosters the same community and welcome that we build in the clinic, but in the homes of our donors, because we're called to love on those women too.
Amen to that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this has been just a lot of learning for me, but I love the heart that you bring and what you're doing to help these women. Because just from the mental health and the anxiety piece, maybe of not knowing what I need to do and who I can reach out to know that they have somebody that they can go to, and not worry about finances. Yeah. Don't worry about finances. Just come here. We're going to help you. And, and it sounds like if for some reason there was something that you can't help with, you partner with other nonprofits. So it's a good starting point, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we can get you connected and help navigate the wide web that is Nashville's nonprofits.
Well, that is fantastic. By the way, real quick on the on that gala, when they able to get tickets up to a certain date, or just until it's sold out?
Yeah, we usually close those 2 weeks before. So I think the date
Okay.
might be like March 10th or something
March
like that.
10th.
Oh, it's coming up.
Okay, gotcha. Well, this has been amazing.
It's been good.
It
Thank you
has.
guys so much for having me.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. No, appreciate you taking time to share with us, because I know you're very busy and your time is valuable, and we definitely respect that. So thank you so much for taking an hour out of your time today to speak with us and share your story with not only us but everybody that's watching and listening. So thank you. All right. So, as we wrap up today's conversation, we do want to just extend our heartfelt thanks to not only you, but to everybody that supports the Hope Clinic for Women. The volunteers and the workers like yourself. I mean, the unwavering commitment that you guys provide and that compassionate care, it truly embodies, our community.
To our listeners, if you're moved by the mission of Hope Clinic and wish to get involved, whether through volunteering, donating, or simply learning more, we encourage you to visit their website at hopeclinicforwomen.org. Every bit of support makes a difference in those they serve.
And until next time, remember that you matter, your voice matters, and together we can make a positive impact in our community. And that brings us to the end of another episode of You Matter Nashville.
We hope today's show has left you feeling as uplifted and inspired as we are. Remember, the spirit of Nashville lives in all of us, and every small act of kindness echoes throughout the community.
A huge thank you for listening and even being a part of our You Matter community. If you love this episode, please share with friends and leave us a 5-star review. It helps us reach more listeners and spread the love.
And if you know anyone that is looking to make a move to Middle Tennessee area, we are real estate professionals known as the Hoover Team, and we would be honored to serve them with excellence.
Until next time, keep making a difference, Nashville. You matter more than you know.